Have you ever felt that thunderclap moment when an entire fan base freezes, wondering if their franchise is about to take a daring leap forward or stumble into a decade-long regret? Because that is exactly where Toronto Blue Jays fans stand right now. One question echoes across the baseball world. What's more important, one megastar with a $400 million halo, or two all-stars who could reshape the lineup from multiple angles? And today, we dive straight into the heart of that emotional storm. Picture this: a chilly Toronto evening, the skyline glowing, the fan base buzzing like a live wire. Rumors swirl, social media explodes, insiders whisper, and suddenly the baseball universe tilts. For weeks, everything pointed to the Jays, pushing all their chips toward Kyle Tucker, the superstar bat everyone envies. A left-handed slugger with power, patience, swagger, and playoff pedigree. The kind of player who doesn't just join a team, he redefines it. But then the twist, the curveball, the offseason pivot nobody saw coming. Instead of going all in on Tucker, new projections suggest the Blue Jays could deploy their financial firepower in a very different direction. Re-signing Bo Bichette to a 6-year, $170 million extension, and pairing him with Cody Bellinger on a 6-year, $180 million deal. Two elite talents, two lineup staples, two franchise-defining commitments, and suddenly the entire trajectory of the club shifts in a single offseason stroke. Fans across the city feel that emotional tug-of-war. On one hand, missing Tucker hurts. Let's not sugarcoat it. This is a superstar who changes the geometry of a lineup. His bat, his consistency, his flair. Losing out on him feels like watching a dream slip through your fingertips. But here's the other side. The Blue Jays aren't walking away empty-handed. They're not choosing to stay conservative. They're not stepping backward. No, they're choosing strategy over spectacle. And that's where this story becomes electric. Bo Bichette, the face of the new generation. The heartbeat of Toronto's offense. Sure, he has defensive imperfections, and those have sparked debates across the country. But take a moment to remember what he does with a bat in his hands. A hit machine, a relentless on-base engine. A player who led Major League Baseball in hits before his knee sprain last season. You don't simply replace that production. You don't wave goodbye to that spark and expect your lineup to stay intact. Keeping him isn't just smart, it's essential. And then there's Cody Bellinger, a former MVP, a resurgent star, a player who found his rhythm again with a .272 average, a .334 OBP, and 29 home runs. His best power output since that iconic 2019 campaign. Forget the past narratives. Forget the slumps and injuries. This is a player who rediscovered himself and could become a devastating middle-of-the-order force in Toronto. So, imagine the scene: Bichette still anchoring the infield, Bellinger patrolling the outfield, and the Jays redistributing the enormous financial weight that would have gone to Tucker into two pillars instead of one. That's not just roster construction, that's strategic architecture. That's the front office saying, we want depth, we want flexibility, we want multiple solutions, not one blockbuster gamble. The story grows even more fascinating when you imagine Bichette potentially shifting to second base with Andrés Giménez sliding into shortstop. That alignment alone could change the defensive chemistry of the entire team, balancing strengths and minimizing weaknesses. It's not just about who hits where, it's about redefining Toronto's identity on the diamond. And fans sense it: the excitement, the anxiety, the possibility, the tension of an off-season on the brink of greatness or controversy. Are the Jays choosing wisely or playing it too safe? Are they building a contender or missing their chance at a generational superstar? That's where our deep dive begins. And now, we dive headfirst into the firestorm of analysis, because this projected shift in Toronto's offseason strategy isn't just a financial pivot, it's a philosophical transformation. When you compare the paths side by side, one truth becomes clear. This isn't about choosing between good or bad, but about choosing between two dramatically different identities for the franchise. One path is the all-in superstar era, the kind of seismic move that becomes the face of a franchise for the next decade. The other is the layered, multi-piece construction that builds resilience, balance, depth, and sustainability. And the decision to prioritize Cody Bellinger and Bo Bichette over Kyle Tucker fits squarely into that second philosophy. Let's start with the numbers, because baseball is still a game where analytics whisper the real story. Kyle Tucker's projected deal would hover north of $400 million. That is not just a contract. It's an anchor, a declaration, a long-term bet on elite production into someone's mid to late 30s. Players of Tucker's caliber rarely decline gracefully, but the risk is always there. Toronto would essentially be tying its future flexibility to one bat, one player, one assumption that Tucker continues to perform at an MVP caliber level year after year. That's bold. That's flashy. But it's also a gamble with a heavy long-term cost. Now contrast that with the dual investment route. Bichette at 6 years and $170 million. Bellinger at 6 years and $180 million. Together, that's roughly $350 million. Still enormous, but spread across two players entering or just beyond their prime, each filling different weaknesses in Toronto's construction. One stabilizes the infield and the top of the batting order. The other injects power, versatility, and a proven ability to shine under pressure. Two all-stars, two different skill sets, one more complete roster. Consider the ripple effects of Bellinger alone. A 2023 resurgence that wasn't a fluke, it was methodical. He trimmed his strikeout rate, renewed his swing path, regained his timing, and posted a .480 slugging percentage anchored by 29 home runs. That wasn't nostalgia. That was a player reinventing himself. Toronto needs that kind of bat, needs that kind of confidence, needs that kind of spotlight presence that can carry an offense through slumps. The Jays lacked thunder last season. Bellinger brings thunder. Then there's Bichette, a player who has taken more swings in clutch moments for this franchise than nearly anyone on the current roster. His contact skills remain elite. His approach is aggressive but effective. His ability to shoot line drives to every corner of the field forces pitchers to alter their entire game plan. And yes, the defense raises eyebrows. But sliding him to second base, allowing Andrés Giménez to take over shortstop, doesn't just mask defensive weaknesses, it reshapes the infield identity. Suddenly, what was once a liability becomes a coordinated, strategically aligned unit. And here's where the analysis gets even more intriguing. Spreading money across the roster is exactly what modern contending teams are doing. Rarely does a single mega contract deliver championships by itself. The Braves, the Dodgers, the Astros, their formulas center on layering depth, ensuring that one injury doesn't send the entire system spiraling. Toronto's rumored approach mirrors that concept beautifully. Lose Tucker? Painful. But gaining a star outfielder and preserving your franchise shortstop while improving positional structure? That's the kind of move that makes front offices nod with strategic approval. The psychological impact matters too. Players around the league watch these moves. They pay attention when a team shows loyalty to its homegrown core. They notice when organizations reward the people who built the foundation. Re-signing Bichette sends a message. Toronto believes in its future from within. Signing Bellinger sends another message. Toronto is adding proven winners from outside. Together, those signals resonate across clubhouses and agent circles. But let's raise the stakes. How does this reshape the AL East? The Yankees remain a powerhouse. The Orioles are young, dangerous, and relentless. Tampa Bay is perpetually clever. Boston, even when struggling, is never truly silent. Toronto cannot afford missteps. So, the real question becomes, what gives them the best path to competing with these monsters for the next 5 to 6 years? One superstar, or two all-star caliber building blocks. Financial flexibility matters here too. A Tucker contract would handcuff Toronto for future free agent cycles. Choosing Bichette and Bellinger instead preserves mobility. More bullpen additions, more trade deadline aggression, more ways to adjust as the roster evolves. Modern baseball rewards adaptability, and this approach gives Toronto that advantage. This is not a settling. This is not a consolation prize. This is strategy. This is the front office choosing architecture over fireworks. So, here we stand at the crossroads of what could become one of the most defining off-seasons in modern Toronto Blue Jays history. And the question that looms above everything, more than contracts, more than rumors, more than analytical breakdowns, is this: what kind of franchise does Toronto want to be for the next decade? Because the decision between chasing Kyle Tucker or locking down both Bo Bichette and Cody Bellinger is not just a matter of dollars. It's a matter of identity, ambition, culture, and long-term direction. These choices echo for years, sometimes generations. If the Jays execute this projected double acquisition, the ripple effects extend far beyond opening day. Think about the stability such a move brings. Bichette remains a foundational offensive engine. His presence offers continuity, leadership, and a sense of homegrown pride. Moving him to second base, if that alignment becomes reality, not only protects him defensively, it strengthens the entire infield structure. Bichette's bat plays anywhere. His mentality plays everywhere. His competitive fire, his emotional connection to the fan base, his ability to generate momentum with a single swing, those qualities shape the heartbeat of a clubhouse. Then add Bellinger, a two-time All-Star, an MVP, a postseason hero, a player with championship DNA who has tasted pressure at the highest level and come out swinging. His impact reaches beyond the stat sheet. His swagger, his presence, his calm in big moments, those are intangibles Toronto desperately needs. Imagine him providing consistency in the outfield, power in the lineup, and a veteran tone that complements the youthful energy on this roster. Bellinger brings edge, and contender needs edge. Now picture how this transforms the team's future arcs. A lineup with Bichette and Bellinger becomes more multidimensional. A pitching staff supported by improved defense benefits hugely. And perhaps most importantly, Toronto keeps financial space open. That flexibility allows the front office to enter future free agent classes with aggression, adapt to new needs, and remain competitive without being anchored by one massive, immovable contract. That is the key difference. Championships are won by teams that evolve, not teams that lock themselves into one narrow path. Let's think ahead. The AL East will not get easier. Baltimore's young core is only growing hungrier. New York continues to spend with the relentless goal of returning to dominance. Tampa Bay stays inventive. Boston bounces back in waves. This is the most unforgiving division in baseball, and the Jays must be equipped not just for a single year's push, but for a sustained run. The dual investment model lines up more naturally with that reality. Of course, the emotional side of this debate remains powerful. Fans dream big. They imagine the fireworks of signing someone like Tucker, a true superstar who electrifies the lineup instantly. And it's natural, exhilarating, even to crave that kind of headline-shifting moment. But sometimes the best front office decisions are the ones that value balance over brilliance, cohesion over headlines, and structure over flash. This isn't a concession. It's a calculated, competitive blueprint. If this scenario plays out, if Bichette signs long-term and Bellinger joins the fold, Toronto emerges from the offseason not with heartbreak, but with rejuvenation. A smarter roster, a deeper lineup, a better defensive alignment, a more flexible financial future, and a team built to push past the disappointments of recent seasons and finally trigger that long-awaited breakthrough. Now, here's where you come in, because this debate doesn't end with analysts or insiders. It lives with the fans. It pulses through conversations, arguments, predictions, hopes, and frustrations. So, I want to hear from every single one of you watching right now. Would you rather see the Jays land Kyle Tucker for over $400 million, locking in an elite bat for years, but sacrificing roster flexibility? Or do you believe the smarter, more strategic path is signing Bo Bichette and Cody Bellinger for a combined $350 million, spreading the impact across the field and strengthening more than one position at once? Tell me what you think. Drop your thoughts, your rants, your celebrations, your concerns right down in the comments. Smash that like button if you believe Toronto should prioritize balance over blockbuster spending, or hit it if you think Tucker should have been the all-in move from the start. Your voice drives this channel, your passion fuels these conversations, and together we shape the pulse of Blue Jays Nation. This offseason isn't just a chapter, it's a turning point. And whatever direction Toronto chooses next, you can bet one thing. We'll be right here breaking it all down, pitch by pitch, rumor by rumor, headline by headline. Stay locked in. Big things are coming.